Hello, everyone. My name is Steve Hernandez. I am the Director of Early Childhood Special Education at Hofstra University, and I wanted to take a few minutes to talk to you about the programs that we offer in our Early Childhood Special Education program, and in particular about the substantial funding opportunities that may be available to you if you so decide to pursue a graduate degree and a career in early childhood special education. A little background on me: I have been the Director of Early Childhood Special Education here at Hofstra since September of 2012. And in addition to that role, I also am a professor here at Hofstra. I teach various courses in special education, and I also do some work with students as they are preparing to student teach. I supervise student teachers, and I work with them on some of the state assessments that they have to pass as well. Now, prior to my work here at Hofstra, I was a school administrator for over 22 years, working in the special education field, and in particular with young children with special needs. And then prior to that, I was in the classroom. So I've been in the field for my entire adult career, worked with a lot of teachers and worked with a lot of individuals training to become teachers. So I look forward to possibly meeting you someday and having you join us here at Hofstra. So let's talk a little bit more about the programs. So if you are interested in working with young children, and in particular young children with disabilities, we have a couple of great opportunities that are awaiting you here. Let's see what those are. So as the United States Department of Education has noted, they want people who are interested in working with young children with disabilities, because as it says here, all young children with disabilities should have access to inclusive, high-quality early childhood programs. And with that, the US DOE awarded grants to Hofstra totaling $2.5 million to help prepare individuals to become early childhood special educators. And that funding is something that I want to talk to you about in more detail. So we have two grant programs. Again, that's part of that, $2.5 million that the US DOE has awarded to us. One of the grants has resulted in what we call our Hofstra Early Childhood Interdisciplinary Professionals Program. And what it does, it takes an existing master's degree in inclusive early childhood special education and pairs it up with funding. This is intended for individuals who have no prior experience as a teacher, no prior education as a teacher, no prior teacher certification. So mostly for people who are, maybe pursuing a career change. Individuals who, let's say, having a undergraduate degree in speech pathology or in psychology, and who now have decided they want to become early childhood special educators. And this grant, then this program is one designed for you. Then we have our Hofstra Early Childhood Intervention Specialist Program, or as it says here, HECIS. This program is intended for individuals who already have teacher certification in early childhood or childhood education, and who want to now pursue a specialization in early childhood special education, as well as get an advanced certificate in applied behavior analysis. So it combines both the early childhood special education master's degree with the advanced certificate in ABA. Let me just take a step back to that HECIP program, the first one here, the Hofstra Early Childhood Interdisciplinary Professionals Program. I forgot to mention that when you complete this program, you graduate with two certifications: a certification in early childhood education, birth through grade 2, as well as a certification in early childhood special education, birth to grade 2. So you have a lot of opportunities in terms of the kinds of teaching positions that you will be able to pursue, and I'll talk about those in a minute as well. So again, specifically the HECIP program, that Hofstra Early Childhood Interdisciplinary Professionals Program. Again, as I said before, it's an inclusive early childhood special education master's degree. It's a 48-credit dual degree program. And as I've already mentioned, it leads to certification in early childhood education, as well as early childhood special education. We focus on child development in general, both typical as well as atypical, formal and informal assessment, research-based methodologies, as well as instruction and collaboration among stakeholders. These are some of the major focal points of the program. Really, we have integrated the interdisciplinary components here at Hofstra, which include special education, early childhood education, literacy, as well as technology, into this 48 credit program. So you exit from this program with, a plethora of knowledge and skills that really can address the needs of all children, from birth to grade 2. Then, to elaborate on our HECIS program, again, it combines a master's degree in early childhood special education with all of the coursework that is part of our advanced certificate in applied behavior analysis. So that combination creates a 45 credit program. So again, once you exit from this program, once you graduate and you've passed all the state testing, you receive certification in early childhood special education, birth to grade 2, and you're also eligible to apply for the Hofstra Advanced Certificate in Applied Behavior Analysis. And then that can lead to national board certification, as well as New York State licensure as a behavior analyst. So overall, we emphasize in this program working with children with a wide variety of disabilities, including autism, learning disabilities, and such. And we emphasize working with not just the child, but with the family as well as with all of the individuals that might be serving that child, including occupational therapists, speech therapists, as well as physical therapists. And in addition, as I've already mentioned, we place a lot of emphasis on working with assistive technology to help children with special needs, utilizing augmentative communication devices and other means of technology that can assist in scaffold learning for young children. So specifically, the scholarship benefits. The HECIP program, again, that's the one for individuals without any prior experience or certification as a teacher, provides tuition remission for 16 of 48 credits. And then the HECIS program, which is, again, for the individuals who already have certification as a teacher, provides tuition remission for 21 of 45 credits. And then along with the other merit-based scholarships that we have here and other federal aid, you could conceivably cover 65% of the graduate tuition through the combination of grants that we have available here at Hofstra. And that some of them are only available here at Hofstra University. So some more of the program highlights. We combine face-to-face with online classroom instruction, including site-based coursework. So, in any one of our courses, you might find that it is what's called a hybrid course, which means that some of the classes are going to be face-to-face and some of them are going to be online. And then we have a whole host of other classes that are fully online, which obviously makes your ability to attend class that much easier. Many of the online courses are what we call offered in a asynchronous manner, which means there is no specific time that you have to necessarily be in front of your computer. Just like with this webinar, you can be watching it at any time of the day or night, any day of the week. And many of our online courses are structured in the same way. The site-based coursework and the field work that we have built into these courses and programs are aligned with particular community-based partners. We have partners like Genesis Eden 2 Schools, the Developmental Disabilities Institute, the Variety Child Learning Center, the Hagedorn Little Village School, as well as a whole host of school districts in the region that work with us and allow for our students to come in and do their field work as well as the student teaching. And the idea is to pair up students with particular teachers early on in their coursework here, so when they enter into the student teaching phase of the program, they're familiar with the teachers and maybe even familiar with the students in the class. And in addition, obviously, our faculty members work with you, while you're doing this field work as well as when you are engaged in student teaching. Another great thing about the program is you can complete it all in 2 years. If you were to start in September, you would finish up in 2 years later in the spring. If you were to start in the spring, you would finish up 2 years later in the fall. Now that includes 3 courses in fall and spring, at least 2 courses in a summer session, possibly a January course. But it is still something that allows you to work full-time. Most of our students are working full-time, maybe as teacher assistants, or some of them are working as teachers. And assuming that you can get to a face-to-face class at 4:30, or obviously dedicate some time to a course that's online, you can complete the program in 2 years. And I would say 85% of our students do so, with the few remaining that don't, maybe completing it in 1 additional semester after that. So both programs will provide the skills necessary to work with young children with disabilities and their families. The focus is on serving young children with disabilities across the full range, from mild to moderate, severe, and multiple. As I already mentioned, the HECIP program leads to dual certification, early childhood and early childhood special education, birth to grade 2. And the HECIS program includes that specialization in applied behavior analysis, along with getting the master's in early childhood special education and the advanced certificate in ABA. And if you're not familiar with the ABA credentialing, it is the premier credential for those that are going to be working with children who are on the autistic spectrum. So if you're already a certified teacher and you're looking to get certification in special education, this HECIS program is fantastic, because again, it gives you that additional licensure and credential in ABA. And again, 21 of the 45 credits can be covered, if not more than that, with all of the other scholarships that are available. So the conceptual framework, as you can see here, emphasizes universal design for learning, culturally responsive teaching, collaborative partnerships. You need to be able to work well with others in order to serve your children, diagnosis and assessment, and applied behavior analysis. So everyone, regardless as to which program you're in, you're going to be taking courses that emphasize these 5 principles of our program. Obviously, if you're in the HECIS program, there's going to be even more of an emphasis on the ABA components. We really emphasize the culturally rich experiences that one can receive in this program. As I already mentioned, you're going to be doing field work in a number of different schools and districts throughout the region. Students must complete a minimum of 100 hours of field experience with young children with disabilities prior to student teaching. And then student teaching is a full semester long experience. Now, one question a lot of students or prospective students have is, well, with the student teaching, it's full time, right? So what about work? How am I going to be able to support myself? Well, if you're working in a school, let's say if you're working in DDI or the Starting Early program or the Variety Child Learning Center or Genesis Eden 2 School, and you're working with the right population that you would need to do your student teaching in, you can possibly work there, be paid for your work if your employer agrees to that, as well as complete your student teaching experience. At least maybe part of your student teaching experience might be you might be able to complete at the place that you're employed. That's up to your employer primarily, and just as long as you can complete and fulfill your student teaching obligations and responsibilities with us, we're okay with you continuing to work and being paid for it as well. And if you are already a certified teacher, and you're working with the right population, you could conceivably continue your teaching position while you're also student teaching as well. So we try to address the needs of the working teacher, both with our online classes as well as with the student teaching opportunities that we are comfortable with you completing. And that's not something that you necessarily have to work on your own. We have a field placement office, and the faculty, we work collaboratively with each other as well as with our clinical partners in the community in arranging for field placement experiences. It's not as if you have to go out there and find these experiences and arrange for them on your own. There is a tremendous amount of student and scholarly support, here at Hofstra. We have 2 student-run organizations, SEGA, with the Special Education Graduate Association, as well as the Council for Exceptional Children. And in addition to these students working with other students, our program faculty advises students throughout their plan of study if you were to enter into any one of these early childhood special education programs, I would be your program director, and I would guide you through your plan of study, making sure you take the right courses at the right time, and advising you on when to take all the necessary testing, as well as obviously teaching you some of the courses as well. Now, obviously, everybody wants to know, well, am I going to be able to get a job after I graduate from this program? Well, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that there's going to be an 8% increase in special education job opportunities through 2026. This is information that just recently came out, so it projects a continued growth in this field, for the next 8 years and beyond that as well. Now, when you graduate from one of our early childhood special education programs and you're a certified educator, there are a tremendous amount of opportunities. You can work in what's called early intervention with children birth to age 2. You can work as a special educator individually, one-on-one with children in what's called a special education itinerant teacher position, or a HECIP. You can also be a preschool teacher working with children with and without special needs, either in a self-contained class or in a completely typical class or in an inclusive class. And then, of course, you can be a teacher in a kindergarten through second grade environment, whether it be in a public or a private school program. So tremendous amount of opportunities. It's not unusual to hear of teachers who work as a classroom teacher during the day, and then they do some of these what's called early intervention or the SEEIT positions, after hours. And so really a tremendous amount of flexibility that, these kinds of certifications offer to you, considering the age range of the children that you're going to be working with from birth on up through age 8, 7 or 8, depending upon when they were born and what grade they're in. So who should apply? Well, we want people who are obviously committed to the field. If you are somebody who wants to work with young children with special needs, we want you to apply. If you do apply and are accepted and are willing to receive the grant money, there is some expectations. The federal government wants you to work in the field for 2 years for every year that you receive grant funding. That typically is the maximum of 4 years. But working in the field means that you simply have to work with children with special needs. And that could be in any program or school district anywhere in the country, from New York to California, from Florida to Alaska. So there's a lot of flexibility in how you can fulfill what we call a service obligation. And you can work, again, for as much money as you can get paid. There's no restrictions on that. So here are the application requirements. And my colleague, Erica Applebaum, will be able to obviously provide you more information on this. Erica?
So the whole application is going to be online. So if you head to hofstra.edu/gradapply, you're going to notice that there's an orange tab there. It's the first orange tab that says Hofstra University Graduate Application. That's the one you're going to fill out. It's just a general graduate application. You're going to upload a copy of your unofficial transcript. You need to take the GRE exam. If you have questions about other exams, you can always reach out to me. You'll need 3 letters of recommendation. So you'll just put the names and email address of the recommenders into the application system, and then the system will send out a prompt to the recommenders. So you don't have to go around chasing down those letters. You'll need a written personal statement. So that's usually about 1 to 2 pages, just explaining why you'd like to be a part of the program and what your professional goals are. And then after the point of submission, you will have an interview with a faculty member in the special education department. They will reach out to you via email to set up this interview or through the phone. Again, the scores on the nationally normed standardized graduate admission exam, that's the GRE. There are a couple of other tests that you may be able to use instead, and that's something that you can certainly ask me about. And that's really the whole application online. So it's relatively simple, and both Dr. Hernandez and I are happy to help you through that application.
Great, thanks, Erica. And again, just to reiterate, if you're applying to the HECIP program, that's the program in blue here, you need to have a bachelor's degree, of course, in liberal arts. including completion of the general education core prerequisites, and all of that, is detailed online on the Hofstra website. If you're applying to the HECIS program, the program in orange, red, you need to already be certified in childhood or early childhood education. But again, HECIP, no certification required. HECIS, certification required. Obviously, there are people out there who, might be interested in HECIP, and then there are others who are more qualified for HECIS. But both of them, are opportunities that are here for you, and both of them have grant money that is available to you. So one thing to keep in mind, though, that this grant money is limited. There is a certain number of slots that I can fulfill that the budget allows. And the earlier one applies, the earlier that one is accepted, and the earlier one accepts the grant, the more likely you'll be able to receive these funds. So don't hesitate to let us know if you're interested to apply, or just give us a call or send us an email if you have any more questions that you need to get clarification on. So let me move to the next slide. And here is our contact information. My picture and my name and contact information is there. And then my colleague, who's not able to be with us today, Dr. Diane Schwartz, is the other early childhood special education professor in the program here. And she can be contacted as well. Great. So we look forward to hearing from you. Do not hesitate to ask any questions that you might have. And we'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.